Racist anti-Semitic conspiracy theories have leapt from the pages of neo-Nazi websites like the Daily Stormer and the Stormfront to the nationally televised air of Fox News and coming out of the mouth of President of the United States, Donald Trump. This video is part 2. In part 1, I discussed the racist, white supremacist, white nationalist, anti-Semitic, domestic terrorist activities which our nation suffered last week. But here, I want to get into the root of the current problem. How are these conspiracy theories making their way from the darkest corners of the internet and onto the airwaves of the most watched cable news outlet in all of mainstream media? Fox News personalities like Tucker Carlson and Lou Dobbs play a part, to be sure. Over the past few months, I've been covering Tucker's slow descent into trafficking full-on white genocide talking points, and I will link to those videos in the description. Their racist talking points start out seemingly innocent enough with questions about immigration and the best policies or approach to immigration reform. But the conversation quickly morphs into fear of other, demonization of that which is different, and conspiratorial thinking. In recent weeks, we've watched an uptick in conspiratorial, racist language with the news of the migrant caravan approaching our southern border. Despite being over 1,000 miles away and traveling on foot, Fox News is treating the members of this caravan like an imminent invading horde, coming through to knock down the border and steal everyone's jobs, commit acts of violence, or vote for Democrats at George Soros' direction. This is an inherently false and sickening anti-Semitic attack on George Soros. You see, deep in the culture of white nationalism and white supremacy is the idea of Jewish people as controllers, controlling the money, controlling the media, controlling the government, and the danger posed to white people and their culture as a result of this control. Part of the anger on the part of these un-American anti-Semites and racists is the role that they believe Jewish people have played and are currently playing in immigration. The Anti-Defamation League, or ADL, references one essay on an anti-Semitic website that describes their own version of history and of Jewish people's role in immigration reform following World War II, which opened immigration for non-Europeans to the United States. The suggestion in the essay was that the United States, at the hands of the Jewish people, was, quote, cowed into miscegenated Talmudic submission, unquote. Miscegenated as in race mixing, and Talmudic as in relating to the Talmud, the central text of Rabbinic Judaism and the primary source of Jewish religious law and theology, and the precursor to Christianity. To summarize, white genocide. They are talking about white genocide. To be clear, these clowns are redefining words because genocide is defined as, quote, the deliberate killing of a large group of people, especially those of particular ethnic group or nation, unquote. What they mean by white genocide is something entirely different. These titans of intellect say that white genocide is the existence of movements within the predominantly white countries of the world to turn countries minority white or majority minority through abortion, low fertility rates, miscegenation, and racial integration. And of course, Fox News' favorite talking point, mass immigration. By way of these methods, white supremacists foolishly believe a violent genocide is afoot. Further, according to the ADL, the white supremacist website Stormfront has regularly propped up similar talking points, arguing that Jewish people advocate on behalf of bringing third world immigrants to white countries in order to, quote, eagerly mix with white inhabitants to produce mud-colored offspring to be raised as the next generation of racially inferior serfs whose lives and labor will be owned by the Jewish aristocracy of their Zionist New World Order. Cute, huh? Another post from a European website stated, quote, We know that the Jew is behind the promotion of mass immigration of just about anyone into Europe as a part of their plan to dilute the white race." Unquote. Well, enter Fox News. Just hours after the gunman killed 11 people at Tree of Life Synagogue, Fox Business aired an interview, a sickening spectacle between Lou Dobbs and Chris Farrell, who's the head of Judicial Watch, a right-wing activist group. In the segment, Chris Farrell propped up a conspiracy that the migrant caravan is being funded and directed by the Soros-occupied State Department.
Sure. Look, this is a criminal involvement on the part of these leftist groups. It's highly organized, very elaborate, sophisticated operation. I have that from the highest levels of the Guatemalan government. They're investigating those groups criminally, and I strongly urge President Trump and Attorney General Sessions to do the same here. A lot of these folks also have affiliates who are getting money from the Soros-occupied State Department, and that is a very great concern. You want to start cutting money there.
Do you know anything?
Did you catch that? Soros-occupied State Department. Don't let him get away with that code. He might as well have used the term ZOG, a common term in white supremacist circles, an acronym for Zionist Occupied Government. A government secretly controlled by a shadowy group of Jews. You see how those line up so perfectly? Soros-occupied State Department, Zionist-occupied government. We've moved from dog whistles to blowhorns, folks. Not only is he referring to the Zionist-occupied government by way of George Soros, he's connecting it to the issue of immigration, I quoted earlier from white supremacist websites. He's connecting his idea of a United States government controlled by Jews to the idea that Jews are investing in bringing immigrants to hurt the white population here. It's all right there on Fox Business. Of course, the senior vice president for programming of Fox Business, Gary Schreier, has apologized. He said, quote, "We condemn the rhetoric by the guest on Lou Dobbs tonight. This episode was a repeat, which has now been pulled from all future airings," unquote. But the damage is already done. It was released onto the airwaves to be digested by the uninitiated, to stoke the fire of fear, and to ratchet up anger and hatred of other. The conspiracy that Soros was funding the migrant caravan was a major element that drove the shooter in Pittsburgh to commit his devastating terror attack on the good people of the synagogue. His fear of invaders is what did it. So Fox Business can apologize all it wants, but like I said, we've already seen the damage caused by spreading this anti-Semitic garbage. Also, in the apology, it is specifically mentioned that it was a rerun. What the hell does that matter? If it was good to go when it originally aired, but it's somehow inappropriate now? If it's no good after the slaughter of 11 innocent people, it's no good before. Also, they're condemning the guest and his hate that they chose to broadcast. What about Lou Dobbs, whose Twitter account is rife with all kinds of disgusting and dangerous anti-Jewish conspiracy and paranoia? Well, Fox News has decided that old Lou Dobbs is too valuable a member of the team to let go. Fox News and Fox Business, along with Tucker Carlson and Lou Dobbs and many others there, need to go. And further, any advertiser that remains after the events of this week, which were clearly brought about in part by the hateful conspiracies peddled there, should be shamed and condemned and boycotted. The ideologies of bigotry and hate and anti-Semitism, racism and white supremacy have no place in our country. And I, for one, will not support or tolerate any person, organization, or business who gives them aid or comfort.